Air India just got a 4-star rating. It merged 4 airlines into one and it added 100 aircrafts. It turned its NPS score from -35 to +40, and right now it has no CEO. The man who built all of this, Campbell Wilson, is leaving in September. His replacement was supposed to be announced months ago. It still hasn't been, because someone at the very top of the Tata group just blocked it. And while Tata scrambles to find a leader, Air India is losing 27,800 crores a year, cutting 350 flights a day and being run by a committee. This is the story behind the story that nobody is fully telling you. Let's lay the foundation quickly. Campbell Wilson became Air India's CEO in July 2022, the moment Tata Group took over the airline from the government. He came from Singapore Airlines and he had a mandate to transform one of the most broken airlines in the world. And by most measures, he delivered. The 4-star Skytrax rating, the Vistara merger, 100 new aircrafts and systems built from scratch. He told Air India chairman N. Chandrasekaran in 2024 that he wanted to leave by 2026. The plan was to have a successor ready before he walked out. That plan has fallen apart. And the reason why tells you a lot about how complicated Air India really is. Let's break it down. Part 1. The crash that changed everything. To understand why this leadership transition is so messy, you have to go back to June 12, 2025. Air India Flight AI 171 Ahmedabad to London Gatwick, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, it crashed 32 seconds after takeoff into the student hostels of a medical college just 1.7 kilometers from the runway. 241 of the 242 people on board were killed, 19 people on the ground died, 260 in total. It was the worst aviation disaster in India in decades, the first fatal crash involving a Boeing 787 anywhere in the world. And it happened to an Air India jet, just 3 years into the Tata Group's transformation of the airline. The preliminary investigation found that the fuel control switches in the cockpit had been flipped, cutting fuel supply to both engines just seconds after takeoff. A year later, the final report still hasn't been published. Investigators cited incomplete engine analysis. Families of the victims gathered at a crash site on June 12 this year, still waiting for answers. That crash created a cloud over Air India's leadership that never fully lifted. And when Wilson announced his departure in April, the cloud got darker. Part 2. The Boardroom Block. Here is where it gets genuinely interesting. Tata had an internal candidate ready, Nipun Aggarwal, Air India's Chief Commercial Officer since 2022. He has overseen fleet expansion, sales, marketing and network planning. Before Air India, he held senior roles at Tata Sons, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Standard Chartered and BP. He was considered the frontrunner. Then Noel Tata, chairman of Tata Trust, which owns 66% of Tata Sons, said no. The opposition to Aggarwal's elevation came from multiple quarters, with Noel Tata flagging it directly at Tata Sons board meetings. The exact reason has not been made public, but the effect was immediate. The succession process froze. Now the search has narrowed to 2 candidates. Aggarwal is still in the running despite the pushback, and the second name is Vinod Kannan, the former CEO of Vistara, the airline that was merged into Air India in November 2024. No decision has been made yet. Wilson exits in September and the airline is being run in the meantime by an interim committee. N. Chandrasekaran himself, former Air India CMD Pradeep Singh Kharola and a group of senior executives. Chandrasekaran is now holding weekly review meetings on Air India's performance. Every department, flight ops, commercial, finance, submits weekly reports directly to him. The chairman of Tata Sons is personally overseeing an airline that is burning billions. Part 3. The scale of the problem. Let's talk about what Wilson is actually leaving behind, because the transformation story and the financial story are very different. Air India and Air India Express together recorded a combined loss of over $2 billion in the last financial year. That is a stunning number. Revenue more than doubled to 77,800 crore rupees because of the Vistara merger. But losses widened even more sharply, from 2,000 crores in the previous year to 27,000 plus crores. The West Asia conflict has forced Air India to cut more than 350 daily flights. The Pakistan airspace closure is making long international routes costlier. Fuel prices at 142 rupees per litre have hit Air India harder than anyone else as a full-service international carrier. It burns far more fuel per seat than IndiGo. Noel Tata has raised Air India's mounting losses repeatedly at Tata Sons board meetings. Singapore Airlines, which owns 25.1% of Air India, has had to inject fresh capital. Both shareholders are watching losses widen in real time and asking when the airline turns profitable. The next CEO doesn't just inherit a transformation in progress, but they inherit a $2 billion hole, a geopolitical crisis cutting their roots, a crash investigation still open, and a board that couldn't agree on who should lead. Part 4. What the interim committee means. The interim committee is a significant signal, but it's not entirely reassuring. Kharola's mandate is clear: tighten operations, crack down on negligence, improve fleet upkeep. His background is regulatory and operational. He ran Air India under government ownership and was secretary at the Ministry of Civil Aviation. He knows the institutional machinery of Indian aviation better than almost anyone. Chandrasekaran's role is quality control and pushing Air India towards profitability. The fact that he is personally involved at this level tells you how seriously Tata is treating this moment. But here is the honest concern. Running an airline by committee, even a well-qualified one, is not the same as having a permanent CEO with authority, vision, and accountability. Airlines need fast decisions, pricing decisions, route decisions, fleet decisions, hiring decisions. Every week without a permanent leader is a week where some of those decisions get delayed or diffused. Wilson built a culture and a direction. The committee can maintain it, but only for a while. But the longer the search drags on, the more the organization starts to drift, and Air India cannot afford to drift right now. Now, what it means for you. For passengers, in the short term, the interim committee is focused on operations and execution. Kharola's specific mandate includes cracking down on lapses tied to negligence and fleet upkeep. If anything, the extra scrutiny at the top might actually improve day-to-day reliability. But watch the medium term. The next CEO of Air India will make the decisions that determine whether this airline fulfills its potential or spends another decade almost getting there. The wide-body order, the international routes, the premium product, the profitability target, all of those depend on who sits in that chair. Two candidates, one was blocked once already, one ran a smaller airline that no longer exists as a separate entity, neither has been announced, and Wilson walks out in September. The next few months at Air India are going to be more consequential for Indian aviation than anything that has happened in the last year, including that 4-star rating. Air India right now is in the middle of one of the most important leadership transitions in its post-privatization history. A crash investigation still open, losses at 27,800 crores, a CEO search stuck in boardroom politics, and a committee running one of the world's most complex airlines day to day. Here is my question for you. Who do you think should run Air India next, and what is the one thing the next CEO must get right above everything else? Tell me in the comments. New video every Thursday at 7 p.m. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.